and your pelvic floor muscles correctly. When I'm talking about core muscles, I'm talking about the 4 layers of abdominal muscles. On the surface, you've got a six-pack muscle. It's called rectus abdominis, and we use that muscle when we do a sit-up. It curves us up like that. The next layer of muscles are your obliques, and we use them for twisting actions, like when you're doing an oblique curl, or when you're upright and you're reaching across your body like that. They're important, but not as important as the deepest abdominal muscle, transverse abdominis. It attaches to the back of your spine and it wraps around the front, attaching to your ribs and your hips. And it's really important that you use that muscle correctly when you're exercising. I'm going to give you a few tips now on how to use that correctly. So a good way to check is to put your hands on your tummy like this. Let your stomach muscles relax. Really let them go. And now just gently draw them inwards like that. That's how you correctly switch on your transverse abdominis. It's not like this, okay? That's your six-pack working. Just a gentle lift. If I show you when I'm lying down, not much moves, gently drawing in like that. But you can really tell the difference once you start doing harder core exercises. So try this little test out yourself. Put your own hands on your tummy, spread out like this, and try to draw in your tummy muscles. When you do that, your muscles should flatten down. They shouldn't push out. So they should draw in like that. And then when you lift one leg up and lift the other leg up, your tummy should stay nice and flat. If you haven't got that on properly or you're not strong enough yet, your tummy will push out like this when that second leg goes up. So make sure you work to the correct level for you in all your exercises, keeping your tummy drawn in and flat and coming up. Excellent. Now, thinking about your pelvic floor. Your pelvic floor is what it says it is, the floor of your pelvis. It's a sling or hammock of muscles that attaches to your coccyx or your tailbone at the back, the bones that you sit on either side, and the bridge bone at the front of your pelvis. It supports all of your pelvic organs. It's really important for continence. It has a role in sex and childbirth. But men also have a pelvic floor, and you've got to learn how to use it correctly when you're exercising. So the feeling of switching on your pelvic floor is like when you need to do a wee and you're trying to hang on. It's also the same feeling as when you're in public and you think you're about to pass wind and you really don't want to do that. So they're the muscles I'm talking about. They're deep inside muscles. You get a squeeze and a lifting feeling. So let's have a try working them. So if you're just sitting on the ground and you lift your pelvic floor, you can't see anything move on the outside. Put your hands on your hips here. Try again. Imagine that feeling like you're busting to a wee and you're trying to not go. Nothing should happen in these muscles here. If you notice that you pop up in the air like that, you're squeezing your glutes, not your pelvic floor. So try again. See if you can get that squeeze and lift on the inside of your pelvic floor. Learning to switch your pelvic floor on correctly is really difficult because it's the one exercise in the world that you can't copy somebody else doing it. And you can't even see yourself if you're doing it. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips on how to correctly switch on your pelvic floor. If you are a female, then the best way to check your pelvic floor is to put one finger inside your vagina, just like you're putting in a tampon. And when you do that, you'll feel, and you switch on your pelvic floor, you will feel those muscles squeezing around your finger and drawing inwards a little bit. So that's what you're trying to feel. You shouldn't feel it pushing down on your finger. If you're male, you're lucky because you actually get to see something moving on the outside. So a great way to check if your pelvic floor is working if you're a male is when you get out of the shower, stand side onto the mirror. If you switch your pelvic floor on correctly, you'll see your penis and scrotum drawing inwards and upwards. And then when you relax, you'll see them lower again. So guys, you do have a pelvic floor and it's actually easier for you to know if you're working it correctly. Now, if you try these things and you just can't figure it out, it doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. Lots of people find pelvic floor hard. I really encourage you to contact your local pelvic floor qualified physiotherapist. They might be referred to as a men's or women's health physiotherapist who can help you correctly learn to work your pelvic floor. It's going to last you a lifetime, so it's worth investing in your pelvic floor. So, last few tips of making sure that you're working your pelvic floor and tummy muscles correctly when you're exercising. So, I'm going to show you correct in a few different positions. So, if I'm going to go into a thigh stretch exercise like this, if I'm doing the right thing with my tummy's going to stay drawn in and relatively flat as I lean backwards. If I haven't got my tummy muscles doing the right thing and I go backwards, my stomach will stick out like that. If I'm doing a sit-up type of action, if I've lifted my pelvic floor and flattened my tummy, when I come up to do sit-ups, my tummy again is still fairly flat. If I haven't got my deep abdominals, my transverse abdominis and my pelvic floor on first, and I come up, my tummy bulges out. Sometimes you can do the right thing, but the exercise is just too hard for your pelvic floor. So for some people, they can do the right thing when they lift one leg up to tabletop, but as soon as they try to get their second leg up, even if they try really hard, their tummy muscles still pop out. That's okay. It's important that you do an easier level of exercise and make your tummy do the right thing. Don't do a harder exercise that makes your tummy muscles push out. Do the best level exercise for you, which might be just one leg to tabletop with your tummy flat. So for me, I can get 2 legs to tabletop with my tummy doing the right thing, but double leg lowers is too hard for me. So if I do really concentrate, I'm going to try to bring both my legs down and see I can't do it. I'm starting to bulge out. That exercise is too difficult for my core and may well be too hard for you as well, even if you think you're doing it well. In a plank position, another classic position where people work their tummy and their pelvic floor harder than they really should, and therefore they're potentially damaging their pelvic floor. So in this position, you want to see your tummy drawing in. So I can do that quite well on my hands and knees. Even on my elbows and knees, I can keep my tummy drawing in. Elbows and toes, and I'm starting to struggle now. My tummy is starting to push outwards, so I'd have to really focus if I was going to keep my deep abdominals and my pelvic floor working well there. I hope that's been useful. Refer back to this. If you're pregnant, there's a separate video for you talking about how to correctly work your tummy and pelvic floor during pregnancy, so have a look for that one. Time to choose one of my exercise classes now. See you next time.